Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So as per every Tuesday at 7:30, on this page we've been going through the writings of Bhai Gurdaas Ji. So Bhai Gurdaas Ji again is the nephew of the third Guru. He was the cousin of Bibi Pani Ji, who was the wife of the fourth Guru. And also they were the Mamma Ji, they were the uncle of the fifth Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And when Guru Arjan Dev Ji compiled all of the writings of the first five Gurus, all of the Bhagats amongst others, and compiled all of those writings into Guru Granth Sahib Ji at that time. Bhai Gurdaas Ji were the scribe who wrote the Gurbani as it was spoken. So that Bhai Gurdaas Ji have their own writings, they have their own poetry. Some of it is called Kabit, and their Kabit Savaiye, and some of it is, well, a lot of it is called their Vara, and a Vaar is like a sort of a ballad, you could say, and there are 40 of them. So there's Bhai Gurdaas Ji's Vara, there are 40 Vara. We've been going through Vaar number 10. So locally we've been going through, we've started from 1 and we've got to 10, and so now we've brought it on 9. The 10th Vaar, in which they there's a theme for the Vaar. So the theme for this Vaar is names or character or historical figures that are referenced in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, referred to, mentioned, talked about. They are sort of their a brief life story of theirs is sort of described, or one significant event of their life is described, so that we can understand them a bit more, so that when we read Gurbani, so the point of Bhai Gurdaas Ji's writings is that when we read Guru Granth Sahib, you read Gurbani, it's a lot easier to understand. And so all of the Vars have different themes. Some of them are like the metaphors that are used in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, some are regarding the animals that are used, that are referred to in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, some are brief history of all of the Gurus, and the aim is to make Guru Granth Sahib Ji easier to understand. That's why Guru Arjan Dev Ji, the fifth Guru, called their writings Gurbani Ki Kunji, the key to Gurbani, the Guru's writings. So through Bhai Gurdaas Ji's writings, we can understand. They pick out themes or significant sort of topics in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, or specific references, and they explain those to make them easier to understand. So we're going through historical figures in this Vaar, in this chapter. We're on 12 today. So we've gone through sort of some kings, queens of the ages past. We've gone through Bhagats. We've gone through like Bhagats from Satyug, for example, Bhagat Dhruv, Bhagat Prahlad Ji. We've gone through people that are affiliated with Krishna Bhagwan Ji. So we had Draupadi, who was the wife of the Pandavas, the 5 Pandavas, during the times of Mahabharata, the war of Mahabharata, and the sort of the times leading up to then. We've had Bhagat Bidar, who is the uncle of the god of king. We've had Bhagat Sudama, who's Krishna's childhood friend. We've had also, so last week we had, or the week before that, sorry, we had Bhagat Jayadev Ji. And that was the first figure who's referenced in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, mentioned in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, by the Gurus and by others, and also who has their own writings in Guru Granth Sahib Ji as well. So that was Bhagat Jayadev Ji. Then last week we had another Bhagat similarly referenced in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, but have also got their writings, I think over 60 shabads in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and that's Bhagat Namdev Ji. And this week we've got, again, the story features Bhagat Namdev Ji and also another Bhagat called Bhagat Trilochan Ji, who also has I think about 4 or 5 shabads, maybe 4 shabads in Guru Granth Sahib Ji as well. So we've got Bhagat Namdev Ji again, and we've got a new Bhagat. So these 2 Bhagats were around in a physical form on this planet, on the earth, around sort of the mid 1200s, like 1200 and like 70, I think, onwards to like the 1300s. So like around, let's say, 700 years ago. And Bhagat Namdev Ji and Bhagat Trilochan Ji, who we're going to talk about, Bhagat Namdev Ji we talked about last week. Remember, they were from a place called Narsi, which is in Maharashtra, which is a state. For those from Punjab, we'll say, it's quite south, but it's sort of towards the south. or sort of middle to South India. Not really South India. They wouldn't say they're southern South Indian, but for us it's sort of South Indian. Most famous because one of our Takhats, Takhat Sri Hazur Sahib, Sri Abjalnagar, Nanded is in that state, and nearby is the sort of historical mandir that is relevant to Bhagat Namdevji's story, which we talked about last week. If anyone wants to watch those or the previous week's like sort of episodes, you could say, they are on YouTube. You just have to type in I think Mata Sahib God Educational Trust. So this week is Bhagat Trilochan Ji, and Bhagat Trilochan Ji was also a contemporary, so somebody who was around at the same time as Bhagat Namdev Ji. They both studied from the same guru. So when we say guru, in that sense, we mean like their teacher in that sense. Their guru in terms of their spiritual teacher as well as their teacher of scriptures. So they shared the same guru, so they were students of the same guru, and they would often do bhagati together. So they would often meet and do simran together, recite the name of Vaheguru in whichever way they would have been back in those days. They would sit together, contemplate the praises of God as well, and that's where the Sakhi comes from today. So we'll jump into it, and it's a very short story today about Bhagat Trilochan Ji, and then we'll mention some other shabas that are written by Bhagat Trilochan Ji, and also where they're referenced in Guru Granth Sahib Ji as well. Vaheguru Ji, Darsan Dekhan Namdev. So to see, so Darsan means to have the vision or to see. Dekhan to see the darshan, the vision of Bhagat Namdev Ji. Palke Ot. So Palke means very early. So very early. Ot Bhagat Trilochan Ji. Palke Ot Trilochan Ave. So Bhagat Trilochan Ji came to see Bhagat Namdev Ji very early, by waking up very, very early. As Bhagat Namdev Ji would be up really early, would be sitting maybe beside the river, in somewhere very like sort of peaceful, doing their bhagati, Amrit Villa. Then they carry on. Bhagat Karan Mil Doe Jane. So Doe Jane, the two people that were Bhagat Namdev Ji and Bhagat Trilochan Ji. Bhagat Karan Mil. They met to do Karan, to do what? Bhagat. So Bhagat has a Sihari, so it means Bhagati. So they met to do Bhagati. So they came together to do some Bhagati, to focus on Vaheguru, to sit together. One do Simran for a little while, the other do Simran for a little while. However they would do it, to support each other essentially in doing that Bhagati. And then Naam Deo Har Chalit Sunave. And what also used to happen is when they maybe have done their Simran, Bhagat Namdev Ji would describe the sort of the praises, and would explain things, describe the ways of Vaheguru, their Chalit, they're like the miracles of Vaheguru, describe Vaheguru too, as we might say the Katha, and they would describe the Katha of Vaheguru, the sort of explanations of how we can get closer to Vaheguru to Bhagat Namdev Ji, Sunave, to Bhagat Trilochan Ji, and they would Sunave, they would listen to this Katha of Bhagat Namdev Ji. Then it came to one day what Bhagat Trilochan Ji said to them was, Meri bhi kar benati. So in one of the Sakhiyan, one of the stories that Bhagat Namdev Ji was telling Bhagat Trilochan Ji was, of some sort where somebody who was a devotee of Vaheguru had asked for something from Vaheguru, or had requested them to show themselves, to sort of solidify their faith, or to out of sort of devotion, and said, Vaheguru, can you reveal yourselves to myself, to ourselves? And they had done that, so they listened to the request of the Bhagat, of the devotee. Hearing that, this is what Bhagat Trilochan Ji said. They said to Bhagat Namdev Ji, Meri pi kar benati, that it seems you are similar, Bhagat Namdev Ji. We've heard the stories from last week, so if you go to if you go on the Mata Sahib, so this account, if you go on the Mata Sahib Koji Education Trust IG TV, so if you go on the Instagram TV on the profile of this page, you'll see the last week's episode where you saw how many times Bhagat Namdev Ji would request something from Vaheguru, or would do some sort of seva for Vaheguru. They will become very happy with them. For example, the example of the milk. So if you watch that one, you'll understand. and Vaheguru will become happy with them and reveal themselves to Bhagat Namdev Ji, in a physical form, in a form of, like the form of the God that they were worshipping. So in a form that was, that Bhagat Namdev Ji could understand with their, their eyes and their senses and everything. So what Bhagat Trilochan Ji said is, Vaheguru is happy with you. They reveal themselves to you. They save you in all of the occasions we talked about in that last week's recording, where Bhagat Namdev Ji goes to meet the emperor of Delhi, where the Pandits, the Mandir in Narsi, reject Bhagat Namdev Ji, and Vaheguru comes to their support, their aid again. Bhagat Trilochan Ji says, Meri mine P as well, Gar Benati. Please make a request to Vaheguru from myself as well as yourself, because you obviously, as all of us who meditate upon Vaheguru, we all do an ardas of some sort, whether we stand up and do an ardas, how we see in the Gurudwara Sahibs, or whether we just, we talk to Vaheguru in our mind, maybe like when we're something bad happens, we sort of think, Vaheguru, please let this not happen, for example, or Vaheguru, please let me pass this exam, or whatever. In some sort of form or another, we are always doing Ana Aradas. We are always performing like a supplication, as we say, or asking for something from Vaheguru in our own different ways, as all of us can sort of say. Please make a request for me as well. So when you see you connect to Vaheguru through your Simran, because you're a complete saint, please ask for something from myself as well. And they said, Darsana dekha je tis pave, that let me have Vaheguru's darshan. So say to Vaheguru when you see them, say, can Bhagat Trilochan, can you bless Bhagat Trilochan with your form, so they can see you like I see you as well. This is what Bhagat Trilochan Ji asks. Say this from me, ask them from myself. So pass on a message, basically. Jait is a power if it pleases them. So they said it in a humble way. If it pleases you, Vaheguru, pass this message on. If it pleases you, Vaheguru, please reveal yourself to me as well. Bhagat Namdev, did you please pass this message on to Vaheguru, because I know you're fully connected with God. Bhagat Namdev Ji laughed, and they said, "Tika, we'll do that. It's fine." And then they say, so when at some point Bhagat Namdev Ji has gone into the meditation of connected with Vaheguru, Thakur ji no puchhyos. So Thakur. So remember last week we used the word Thakur, but it meant the form of God in a form of a statue that is often worshipped in India. As most of you might have seen, there's sometimes it's like an idol created of a specific god or goddess, and that's called a Thakur, and that's used as a way of focusing on that god or goddess. So that's sometimes called a Thakur. Even in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, sometimes that's called the word Thakur means that, but most often the word Thakur means master, and it's like another word for Vaheguru. So Thakur Ji, so Vaheguru Ji no puchhyos. So Bhagat Namdev Ji asked Vaheguru when they connected with them next, Darsana kive Trilochan pave. How can Bhagat Trilochan Ji attain or get your vision, be blessed with you showing yourselves to them? How can he obtain this? So Bhagat Trilochan Ji, sorry to go back as well, he had said as well, one of his things, his messages was to ask Vaheguru what I have to do for Vaheguru to reveal themselves. So that was the sort of way that it was put. Vaheguru, what do I have to do for yourself to reveal yourself to me? What Bhagati, what Shabad should I recite? What type of Bhagati should I do? What is it that you want me to do? That should I do this X amount? Let's say, in our language it would be sort of, should I do 100 Japji Sahibs? Should I do 2 hours of Simran a day? Should it be I should do a Sukhani Sahib a day? These kind of things, these sort of examples. In those days, what their equivalents were. What should I do for Vaheguru to reveal themselves to me? Yeah. Now, hearing this and passing this message on to Vaheguru, Bhagat Namdev Ji, what happened was, Haska Thakur Bolya. Vaheguru laughed and replied back to Bhagat Namdev Ji, Naam Deo no keh samjhave. They said this to Bhagat Namdev Ji and explained this. Keh means to say, samjhave means to explain. They said and explained this to Bhagat Namdev Ji. Hath na, and this is what they said, Hath na ave pet so, that Vaheguru Hath na ave cannot come into your hand, as in you can't just get Vaheguru's darshan. So this vision of Vaheguru can't just come into your hand, as in you can't just get this. Pet, so with any peta. So pet means like an offering. So when you go to the Gurudwara Sahib and you take some atta or you take some sugar and you offer it to Guru Granth Sahib Ji, that's your peta. That's what it's called, peta. So these kind of offerings, so in a different way, the offering of I'll do Sukhani Sahib every day for a year, or I'll do this many parts, or this sort of deal and this sort of offer, Vaheguru cannot be obtained by just this sort of thing. Like when we buy a car, there's a certain amount we give and we get the car. Yeah. When we buy a house, we give a certain thing, we get a house. If I see someone and I say, if how much for your watch, and they say, give me your watch. You can give a watch for a watch. You can swap anything in the world for another material thing with anyone in the world, even myself. If someone asked, my laptop, what do you want for this? There's something I'm going to say. They can swap it and take it. Yeah, there's always like an equivalent you can offer to get something from everyone else in the world. But with Vaheguru, there's no, Vaheguru, I'll give you this much money. Should I offer this? Should I donate this much money to the local mandir or to the local Gurdwara mandir in that sense, or the local Gurdwara Sahib? Or should I do this much seva? Should I do this much jap? Should I do this much bhakti? What is it that I should do that then equals you revealing yourself to me? And Vaheguru says that to Bhagat Trilochan Ji, tell him that there's not a sort of currency or a sort of price, let's say, a price where you can just give this to me, Vaheguru, and then I'll just reveal myself to you. Tus Trilochan main mohe lave. Yeah. So tus means trutke. So when or another word is a person. So when I become very pleased, with Bhagat Trilochan, tus Trilochan main, myself, mohe lave, then I will show myself to Bhagat Trilochan. So only when I am happy with my Bhagat, my devotee, only when I am happy with what they're doing and whatever they're doing pleases me, only then will I reveal myself to my Bhagat, in this case Bhagat Trilochan Ji. Then they say, myself, so Vaheguru says, Adeen, I am, Adeen means under the control of, Adeen, Bhagat de. Vaheguru is saying, I am under the control of the Bhagats. So you might be thinking, is the translation wrong? Have I understood it wrong? But this is what they're saying. Adeen, Bhagat de. So in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, they use the word bandi, I think. Bandave or bandi, meaning tied up. Meaning, I am tied up by the words and the actions of the Bhagats and the desires of my Bhagats. Whatever they want, I'm almost forced to fulfill their desires, my true Bhagats. Like, for example, in last week's a case, we had sort of 2 or 3 occasions where Vaheguru came to the aid of Bhagat Namdev Ji. The previous week we had Bhagat Jayadev, we had the same thing. Vaheguru came to support their Bhagat. So Vaheguru is saying, I am like a servant to my devotees. Whenever they need me, I always show, I always fulfill whatever they want. The true devotees of Vaheguru. Paunchana hanga bhagati dave. But Paunchana hanga means sakada. Paunchana sakada or Paunchana hanga, I cannot be reached. Yeah, I cannot be reached or persuaded in that sense. Bhagati dava. So a dava is like a promise. So like, although a promise is a good thing, if you say to yourself, Vaheguru, I'm going to do this much bhagati, I'm going to make sure I do a Japji Sahib a day or 2 Japji Sahibs a day or X, Y, Z, whatever I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and do 10 minutes of Simran a day, 5 minutes, 2, 3 minutes. That is a promise, but it's not a promise like as in a sense of a deal. It's not a deal. So that's what they're sort of trying to say. So the dava means like a promise, but with an expectation. Bahachana hanga bhagati dava. You can't reach me. This is Vaheguru saying this. You can't reach me with promises that, if I do this much, then I'll get this. That sort of stuff. That sort of mathematics doesn't work with Vaheguru. But they are saying that they are a servant to their Bhagats, but not in that way. And so they finish hoye vichola arn milave. But if there is a vichola, so in most senses we hear the word vichola when two families have someone they want to get married. So like let's say a certain family has a young boy, 23, 4 years old. Another family has a girl, 23, 4 years old. And someone who knows both families will say, oh, hold on, I know this person, their daughter's looking to get married. Let me be the vichola. Let me go and talk to them. What are you looking for? And then I'll sort of like a middle person, a middleman. But if we have a middleman who is one with Vaheguru, like in this case, Bhagat Namdev Ji, Arn Milave, then Vaheguru can be, we can merge with Vaheguru through that vichola. So for us, who's our vichola? Those Gursikhs that follow the Guru. The Guru is the vichola for Vaheguru themselves as well. And all of the Bhagats in a sense are vichola as well. They connect us to Vaheguru. Vaheguru's over there, and they're in the middle in the sense connected to Vaheguru. The form is they're not different, but they connect us to Vaheguru. So they say, hoye vichola. If you have a vichola, then Vaheguru can be met in this way. So yeah, that is the Vaar, the body for this week. So really, the sort of moral of the story is that one, we can't. Now, one thing as well is we can't reach Vaheguru with promises that are based on some sort of expectation. So like we talked about, you can't say I'll do X, Y, I'll do this. Vaheguru, you must then do this for me. That doesn't work. But if it's done out of a place of devotion, a place of love, say Vaheguru, I'm going to do this much bar today. I'm going to stick to this. I'm going to do a certain amount of bhakti a day. I'm going to do a certain amount of japa a day. That promise, a true promise, that is accepted by Vaheguru. Okay, but there's sort of promises where dava, we hear that sort of word in other faiths quite a lot, where I'll do this and then I'll get that back. That doesn't work with Vaheguru. The path is, or the currency is of pyar, of prem. And then the second thing to take from this body is that look at how beneficial it is to have someone who is a middleman who can connect you with Vaheguru. So Bhagat Trilochan Ji had Bhagat Namdev Ji, someone who's truly connected to Vaheguru, and they had them who could explain these things to them, who they could do bhagati with, they could do Simran with in the mornings, they could listen to the Katha of Vaheguru from. They could understand more about how they can get closer to Vaheguru. If they didn't have that person, they would just keep doing a certain amount of Bhat or a certain amount of Simran, and then just think, oh, well, why has this not happened? Why has Vaheguru not reached me? Why can I not reach this XYZ level? It's only because of Bhagat Namdev Ji that they had this understanding. So look how important it is to have someone who is a true spiritual guide, who is connected to their Guru, who is connected to the teachings of the Guru, connected in terms of like who does Simran, who then we can benefit from greatly. So that was this week's. I think next week is Bhagat Tanna, so another Bhagat who has writings in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, who's also referenced in Guru Granth Sahib Ji as well. Also, if you look at the post earlier, had a few shabads of Bhagat Trilochan Ji that also referenced in some of the shabads we talked about last week as well. So that's all for this week, and then we'll continue next week. So there was already 13 this week out of I think 23. Out of 23. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening. And again, the previous week's recordings are on the IGTV on the page, Musket page. You can also, if you just scroll through the previous posts on this page, you'll see them, and then also they're on YouTube. You just have to type in Mata Sahib God Educational Trust, and then it's in one of those playlists there. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki